Hey guys, it's Ginny Silver, and today I'm going to talk to those of you in the state of California who are wondering how you can get access to the additional rental relief that was passed in the stimulus bill, which was passed back in December. The last stimulus bill granted an additional $25 billion allocated to rental relief, but many of you may be wondering where the heck it is and how you can get access to it. Well, it's kind of hard to locate details for this, so I want to give you the specific website that you can monitor so that you know exactly what is available to you and when you or your landlord can apply. The funds from this additional stimulus were allocated to the states on January 26th. So on January 26th, the federal government sent over the additional funds to each state. Immediately following receiving those funds, the state of California passed the COVID Tenant Relief Act on January 29th, which gives program specifics for things like eviction moratorium and additional rental relief. If you want to access that bill and see exactly what it says, I'm going to link that bill as well as the rental relief website in the video description down below. Now, the rental relief program in the state of California is not going to be accepting applications until about March 15th. They have stated here that up until March 15th, they will be getting the program ready, up and running, and hope to be accepting applications by or before March 15th, 2021. In most cases, your landlord needs to apply to the program. I'm going to get into more detail on that in a second, but I want to make sure that you guys understand that this website is here for you guys to monitor the program, and then you will need to ask your landlord to apply. Why? Because your landlord will need to apply in order to receive the most possible funds. So the Emergency Rental Assistance Program is available for households with incomes at or below 80% of the median area income, with a priority on helping households at or below 50% of area median income, as well as households unemployed for the preceding 90 days at the time of application. Most likely you don't know what your area median income is, so I'm going to go ahead and link a website where you can look it up based on your address in the video description down below. This prioritizes the payment of rental arrearages. What the heck is an arrearage? An arrear is when you have a debt that you owe to your landlord. So if you did not pay your rent and you owe back rent, that is an arrearage. Landlords can choose to accept 80% of any unpaid rent owed from April 1st, 2020 through March 31st, 2021. If a landlord accepts this funding, the landlord agrees to forgive the remaining unpaid rent for that covered period. So, this is applicable if you owe back rent from April 1st, 2020 up through March 31st, 2021. If you owe any back rent during that point in time, your landlord must agree to this program in order to receive the funds. If your landlord agrees, your landlord will be receiving 80% worth of your back rent that is owed during that period. Now, if they accept that back rent in the amount of 80%, then they are also agreeing to forgive the additional 20%. They will not receive that 20% from the federal government, and they will not receive it from you. So you will not have to pay it in the future. Now, many landlords may not agree to these terms. So what can you do if your landlord says no? Well, if your landlord says no, then you may apply to the program yourself. However, the amount of funding is going to be significantly decreased. If a landlord chooses not to participate, the tenant can still apply for rental relief valued at 25% of unpaid back rent they owe for the covered period. Remember, the covered period is from April 1st, 2020 through March 31st, 2021. Qualified tenants will also be able to access funds to cover 25% of prospective rent for the months of April, May, and June of 2021, subject to available funding. So if additional program funding is still there, you may be eligible to receive 25% of your rent for April, May, and June. Utility arrearages will also be eligible to be paid, subject to funding availability. The state will directly administer $1.5 billion through either the State Rental Assistance Program or through block grants to qualifying local jurisdictions. There's an emphasis on multilingual local outreach, fraud prevention, and customer service. The program will be stood up to begin accepting applications no later than March 15th, 2021. So monitor this website that I have in the video description. Once you see that the application becomes available, you will need to let your landlord know that you would like for them to apply. If they're able to apply and they accept the terms, then you will be all set. However, if they do not want to apply and they do not accept those terms, you will need to apply yourself as a tenant. Applying as a tenant would then mean that you would be eligible to receive up to only 25% for those back paid rent months that are due. So the very best option is to have your landlord apply. In addition to the stimulus bill funds for rental assistance, there are also some additional programs that still remain over on the National Low Income Housing Coalition. National Low Income Housing Coalition has a website where you can look up your local area and see a list of available rental assistance programs that are accepting applications. There aren't a whole lot that are still accepting applications because most of the funds have dried up. However, it is worth checking out if you're in need of help right now. I'm going to drop that link in the video description as well. Okay, you guys, I hope that was helpful. Please click like, subscribe, and leave me a comment down below.